Howdy. Today we're going to record a quick video about how to troubleshoot Allocation Health, specifically when it receives the error about no valid shard copy. So, Elasticsearch recommends that all clusters are set up for high availability if they're going to be in production. Under its documentation, it tells you the basic setup that's required in order to run the cluster. However, it also tells you for a cluster to be considered resilient, it needs three things: master eligible nodes, at least three, two nodes per role, and then at least two copies of a shard. For our purposes today, we're going to make that third one fail because it's the easiest. A highlight before we get started. Under Elasticsearch documentation, it ends up warning you that only Elasticsearch official snapshots are supported. Other backup methods are not officially supported. That includes like VMs or just storing a data directory. Okay, so I created a deployment. If we scroll down, it has the three master eligible nodes we're expecting. It has two nodes of a particular role, data hot, and then I created an index inside and managed to break it. So for our purposes, if we go under the health tab, it's going to tell us that there's one unavailable primary shard. If we click to expand, it's telling us that my index ET is experiencing problems. So the question becomes kind of like what changed in order to RCA. For our purposes, under activity, I ended up simulating a cloud host failure. So it induced a networking issue on the cloud host, so it wasn't able to gracefully recover the data from the data directory. This is listed under our cloud documentation, that these are rare circumstances which you hedge against with that resiliency. However, it's always possible, just like it would be on-prem. And in these few circumstances, the only way to recover is in order to snapshot restore that data. So that health report would link us over to this diagnose unassigned chart. So this is what we're going to be following today. In particular, it, as we quick scroll through, tells us check cluster health, check cat shards, check cat allocation. And then if we do confirm the error somewhere in front of my face, I almost see it, then we'd follow this guide in order to snapshot restore. So let me show you in DevTools. So over here, I set up an index, had no replicas, so there was only one primary shard, causing that node vacate on the node that was hosting this particular index, caused that index to be status red. Let me add in cat indices, T. So here we can just see that index is status red. So in order to investigate that, as the doc said, we're going to go run cluster allocation explain. Here we do confirm that it is saying no valid shard copy. And so in order to recover from this, what it linked over to, it says recovering data for a lost or primary shard. So this is our list of options. We're going to choose the one that makes the most sense for our particular use case. Because Elastic Cloud by default has your back and takes snapshots, backups every 30 minutes, by default. We're going to restore from Snapshot, but just highlighting, right? Like there are other recovery options potentially, including re-ingesting or variations of accepting data loss if it's an index you don't care about. So in order to follow that snapshot restore documentation, we today are going to be following the delete and restore process. A variation, we're just going to close that index. So let's do it. First, we need to find a snapshot that we can restore from. So we have a partial, we have two partials, and we have a success. So let's go take a look at that success. Get snapshot, found snapshots, that. Awesome. Here, I'm just going to search for ET. So I confirm that my index is listed in this snapshot. And then because it states success, that couldn't have been a partial capture for that index. So I know that this one is going to work for me. So I'm going to go close the index, highlighting that documentation says that you can delete and then restore. Closing the index is just as sufficient. So you can delete the index first, or you can just close the index and then it replaces in place. So I'm going to close that index. It's going to take a little bit because it's trying to have my back. Once it goes through, then Then I'm going to run the snapshot restore command. So the repository was found snapshots, the snapshot we just confirmed would work, and then that restore command. We're not restoring all of that snapshot, we're only restoring this one particular index. But just have to wait a second for that close command to finish. And then we'll hit submit on our snapshot. Once we do that, you could watch shards recover. Because my index is so small, we went automatically to green. So at this point, if we pull back to our deployment and come over to health, it's now reporting that the cluster is healthy because we have successfully fixed that data. Back in DevTools, cluster health is green. Cat indices is also green. So we are fully recovered. Go team. Thanks all.